Everybody wants to just show up, have a trillion bajillion followers, make 10K a month overnight.
Yep.
And I will tell everyone, I will tell you over and over and over again, there is zero chances of overnight success.
Right.
Zero. People that show up and have overnight success, what was their journey like the last 10 years?
Right.
We don't know so often. You have to have the long vision in mind. You have to understand that if you have this call on your heart to do something, and it doesn't matter to me what your call is. And I think everybody has where they are right now for a reason.
Yes.
But it's that you have to be willing to go after it every day, every single day, with so much focus and so much faith that if you continuously show up for this dream, there is zero chances you will fail. And maybe it takes you a year, maybe it takes you a decade.
Hi, welcome to another episode of Mom Does It All. If you're looking for encouragement, empowerment, and uplifting in motherhood and mompreneurship, this is a show for you. I'm your host, Marta Spurk, triplet mom, certified success coach, and all things motivation extraordinaire. In this episode, I interview faith-based business and balance coach, Stefanie. We talk about how money doesn't equal happiness or success as she shares her journey from corporate into motherhood and entrepreneurship and gives such valuable advice on finding your calling and pursuing it daily with focus and faith. Just this intro gives me chills. Wait till you hear the entire episode. Let's dive in. Hi, Stefanie. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Hi, I'm so excited to be here.
Yes, I can't wait to hear more about your story, all the beginnings and everything. And as I was just mentioning to you off air a second ago, what called my attention the most about you, I mean, there's so many amazing things, is just your focus on faith and finding your calling, the calling that God has put on you in your heart, and following that, especially for me with having, a background, Christian upbringing, my mom's a pastor and all of the things. I want to hear about your story and how that came to be and how you use that to help women build their business now.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Well, thank you so much, first of all, for having me. And I think so many people stop in their tracks when they find me because I'm really blatantly like this faith-led business coach. And there's this high demand for that, but I don't think that there's many people that are pairing faith. And let me disclaimer this by saying faith is faith. So whether it's God, which it is for me, or it could be spirit, it could be universe, right? So you guys take that with a grain of salt, but in essence, it's pairing this greater call that I think we've all been given, and we've been born with these incredible gifts as human beings on this earth. And it's saying, hey, let me take this incredible gift that I have and change lives with that. And that is something that I believe every single person has. They have zones of genius. They have things they are naturally passionate about. And I believe that when you pair that with, a higher calling, and you allow God to open the doors and to fuel your passions, that you are truly unstoppable. So that's what I do. And I believe that how can you live your greatest call and your greatest potential without faith and religion and God or spirit, And so that's kind of who I am and what my mission is.
Right. Oh, I love that. It definitely makes a difference, and especially being an entrepreneur. It's so lonely in so many ways. You have to have, building a community, connecting with other people is so important. But at the end of the day, it's you, right? And so having something else, someone else that you can count on that has got your back because they've helped you put those desires in there to begin with, whatever you believe in, just like what you said, it helps and it goes a long way for sure. I love that.
Absolutely. And I think that, as entrepreneurs, it's so difficult. The road is difficult. It's not, oh, hey, I'm going to grab a job and I'm going to do this thing. It's, I got to pave my own way. And for so many people, that's being a solopreneur, being all alone, showing up when nobody cares. Nobody's on the lives. Nobody's there. But
there.
Been there.
Yeah.
And so the beauty of believing in a greater call is that, if I just continue forward this mission, on my life, I am going to succeed because it's not coming from me. This is coming from beyond me.
Right. And understanding that you have this purpose. And so this is something that I talk a lot about too, how I have these desires and I have something, a message that can't be silenced. I have to share this with the world. People need this. It's not just about me, right? And it's like everyone has a responsibility to share what they were born with, these talents and things. It's like the world is missing out. You're doing the world a disservice if you're not following all of these things. So I just love that.
Oh, 1,000,000%.
And tell us about your journey, though, with entrepreneurship, how you've all started, because I know you've been with network marketing as well. So tell us all.
Okay. Yes, I would love to. Well, I have a master's degree in accounting, believe it or not, and started out in that realm. And I, by the age of 26, was making well over 6 figures as a corporate controller at this big, international company. I was traveling the world and I was the slave to this career path. So many women can relate. I was working between 40 and, 40 on a good week, but up to 65, 70 hours a week. I don't even remember seeing the sunlight some days because you'd go in at 6 a.m., you'd get out at, 9 p.m.
Yeah.
And it was fine because I didn't have a family. And my vision was to become this incredible, corporate guru. And I was just going to be the best. Well, what happens when you get engaged, when you have, I'm ready to kind of move into this family life.
Right.
I think for so many of us, we realize, holy smokes, this can't work because I want to raise my own kids.
Right.
I want to be there for them. And I want to see my husband once in a while. So interestingly, I do believe that God stepped in and gave me a taste of entrepreneurship. And back then, what I was introduced to was network marketing. And so full speed ahead. I tell people on my podcast or my clients, I'm like, listen, I wasn't just drinking the Kool-Aid, like I was mixing the Kool-Aid.
Oh my goodness. You went all in, balls to the wall.
I did. I believed with every ounce of my being that I was going to make it in this industry. And I did. And I just went full force ahead. I mean, I was the creepy, weird networker. I was blowing people's inboxes up, getting defriended. I just didn't care. And I think when you're trying to find yourself and going from who you are as this corporate powerhouse woman to all of a sudden I'm this entrepreneur and I have to prove that I can be successful at something, I had this tunnel vision of money equals success. And I had this vision that if I make it financially, if I get back to 6 figures using network marketing, that's where happiness comes from. That's where success comes from. It was all about recognition, And so anyways, 2 years in, I did it. I got to the top of the company, top 1%. I walked the stage. I had the $50,000 bonus check, the big one, free trip, the cars that were paid for. Yeah, it was amazing. And then just like so many lessons, that we are given, God was like, okay, boo-boo, I just let you have a taste of that because now I'm going to take it away and I'm going to teach you a lesson so that you can grow. And what happened was within the next 2 years, that business started to fall apart. And it's because I believe I didn't build it in the right way. I didn't build it with everyone else's intention in mind. It was about me, really. And I was 60 pounds overweight. I had my second child and I just found myself truly at this reckoning. And I'm like, what am I doing? This isn't fueling me. I don't feel good about it morally anymore. The finances have been cut in half. I had to borrow money from my son's savings account because the lifestyle we were living was at the top of this company. And so I literally dropped to my knees and I'm like, Lord, show me what is next. And I think it took about 12 months of soul searching to figure out, okay, it's not network marketing. And that was so difficult because my identity was tied up in being successful as a network marketer. Everybody knew me as, Stefanie's she's so successful in this company. And so to be honest with myself and say, this isn't what God wants me to do right now, was really hard. But what happened was, I think when you have to become the woman that you're meant to become, you have to shed all of the things that are holding you back, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I stepped away from network marketing and I ended up meeting with a bunch of new friends that were, I think, led to me, a new mentor. And they said, hey, well, what is it that you love about network marketing? I'm like, well, I love the personal development and coaching and the public speaking and empowering women and seeing people do stuff that they never knew that they could do.
Mm-hmm.
And this mentor looked at me and was like, why don't you try coaching? And that word is to me a little, now I think of myself more as an educator, but at the time it was like, coaching, what does that even mean? But I think you might be onto something. Mm-hmm. Anyways, within like a month of having that realization, that aha moment, 2 people popped into my DMs and were like, hey, do you do coaching? Because I think I'd like to work with you. And I'm like, wow. I guess I do.
Confirmation.
Yeah. I'm like, I hear you, big man upstairs. And that's kind of how it was born. And then from there, I think when you open your heart and say, I'm willing and ready to do what you want me to do and to be a vessel, every door opens. I mean, within the last year and a half, it's exploded. I've got courses, I've got clients, group coaching, the podcast. Mm-hmm. So when you get in line with what you're truly destined for, that's when you see massive shifts in your life.
Oh, I love that story so much. And I can relate to so much of it, especially with the being so fixated with something, because it was something that you were meant to do at that time to learn and grow. But it doesn't mean that it's what you're going to be doing forever. There's different seasons, and sometimes it's hard for us to accept that. But being open to this direction, just like what you were saying, even if it takes 12 months, even if it takes however long, for you to find yourself and for you to accept that and be connected with the different people to help you, it just takes time. And I feel like, especially in today's world, it's hard to accept when things takes time. We all want what we want right now, right? And I just love how, your story and you sharing it with us, that it's okay for you to stop doing what you're doing if it's not fulfilling you anymore. Because sometimes we feel, what will people think, right? I mean, I was this big thing, big shot, and then now I'm not going to be this anymore. Who will I be? And it's tough, but you just have to follow your heart. And I really love that message. And one other thing that you said too, is that the way you built that business was not based on thinking of other people. It was mostly thinking about you. And that was one of the reasons why it wasn't moving forward, or eventually you had to stop and do something else. And I feel like it takes a while to even figure out that as well. Like having the right reasons, quote unquote, and having that why that they ask us, what is your why? Why are you doing this? And it's a process and it's a journey. And thank you for sharing.
It is. You're welcome. And along that line, I want to say something with that. People sometimes will wait because they think, well, I don't know if this is the ultimate calling. Mm-hmm. But if I hadn't just tried it,
right,
how would I have been led to where I am today? And so no matter where people find themselves, instead of being stuck and frozen in fear, I wouldn't have been able to grow as a human being and understand that truly helping other women was going to emerge as this massive mission for me. Yeah. If I hadn't done the network marketing, if I hadn't seen my own faults and really taken a look at myself and done all that hard work I had to do to say, yo, girl, we got some work to do. We've got to look at ourselves in the mirror sometimes and be honest about the things that are holding us back from our potential or from our calling. Mm-hmm. So it's don't be stuck in fear and just try something. Just take the step, because ultimately that step is leading you to this ultimate destination.
Right. Yeah. And sometimes you have to do things to figure out what you do like, right? Or what will work. Sometimes you do have to fail. And I don't even like the word failing, because I feel like everything is a learning experience.
Absolutely.
There's a quote out there that just says, you're exactly where you're supposed to be right now. And I mean, you learn from everything. So everything, and you achieve the top even. Yeah. Some people might have tried and not even gotten to where you did. And that was still a learning experience that put them on a different path to learn different things and to get to where they are right now.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Totally. All right. So tell us more about how you do what you do and the different things that you have going on. Because I know you, when we talked earlier, you mentioned about helping women with confidence as entrepreneurs. Because, like we said, it's a rough path. There's lots of ups and downs, and lots of disappointment and failure and whatever. And so, tell us how you help women in that sense.
Yes. So great question. What I do is I call myself a success strategist. And what I really think that means to me is I'm a big picture human.
Okay.
So someone can come to me and they can say, okay, I'm really passionate about music, but I don't know what to do with that. I have a law degree, I'm making 6 figures in law. I can't become a music teacher. Like, what do I do? And so people will come to me in these moments and we will just focus on helping them get clarity on their purpose and then figuring out what are the things that light you up.
Okay.
I mean, what creates your most ideal life? How do you live well? And then breaking those pieces down to make sure they're intentionally living in all of those places. And then figuring out how we can monetize this passion, this music, using passive income products, ebooks, courses, even potentially, online lessons for people, or they can have a subscription group where they teach music every month. Like, it is limitless. And people just don't have that filter on so often that, oh, wow, there is a way to make money from what I'm excited about.
Right.
So I help them identify this, and I do this. I have self-study courses that do this. I work with a very select number of people one-on-one. And then, of course, I figured out, oh, wow, I just need a platform like the podcast where I can teach the masses this stuff. And then some people take that and run with it. And other people are like, okay, I learned from you, but now I need accountability and implementation with you. And that's where I have those other options for them. So I'm all about passive income and really diversifying. After having all my eggs in one basket, I'm like, I will never do that again.
Yeah. Multiple sources of income.
Yes. And just teaching women that they can literally have it all. Like, we are the only ones constraining ourselves. It's our own fault that we are not spiritually fed, looking and feeling our best, healthy relationships, not spending time with our kids. Like, it's our own fault, and we can change it. So that's really what I'm all about.
So many amazing things that you said. One of the things that you said actually brought me back to what you were saying about you having a 6-figure job and then building a 6-figure business, and still that wasn't what you wanted entirely. And so many times we equal money to happiness, just like what you were saying, or to success. And when you get there, you realize, that's not really it, until you actually find what lights you up. And I love that term. That's been something that I'm using a lot, because especially with women, I feel like we don't really go there, right? It's just like, I signed up for this mom job and I'm just living here. And you don't realize that there's more. And it's okay that if you want more, and you can go after it, find it, and then pursue it to monetize it, to turn it into a business, and to actually be successful. And it's not shameful at all. It's what we should be doing to be happy and fulfilled.
Oh my gosh. I so agree with that. I think we think that money equals happiness, but in reality, you have to flip it and almost reverse engineer the passions of your heart and the loves of your heart, and figure out what you love so much. And I had a really hard time with this for a while. I'm sure you can relate. I now have these children, and they deserve just all of me. Like, if I'm not on the floor building Legos, I'm feeling guilty, or if I'm on the phone all day. And so I had to really come to almost this place in my own heart that was like, it's okay to be an exceptional, powerful entrepreneur and have little children, as long as I am fulfilling both areas to the best of my ability. And so I think that now true happiness comes from time. the more time and space I open up in my day, which means outsourcing, it means not scrolling. I don't scroll. I get off social media. I time block, because if I can spend 2 hours with them playing and we make dinner together and we can pray together and read books and I literally pour into them, I feel so great about going and spending 3 hours on my business.
Right.
It's being intentional.
Right.
And I have found so much more happiness in having more space and time instead of, well, the busier I am, the more that equates to money and the more that equates to recognition and the more that equals happiness. It's actually counterintuitive to think the less time you're spending growing this business and the less busy you are, but the more focused on the actual activity, the happier you'll become because you have all this other time for the things you really want.
Yes. Oh, I love that. The idea that time is really what we should be focusing on. And there's this one book, I don't know if you've ever heard of it, The Slight Edge, that talks about, it's like super famous, that talks about time is either for you or against you. So it's really what we should be focusing on. And the whole concept of spending less time building your business as opposed to what we think, work hard, right? And just hustle and blah, blah, blah. And then that's where the idea of you can't do this while you have kids comes from, because you're so consumed by the business. And that's not the idea, is just really making sure you're doing both just as well. And I love that. And I was actually, this is perfect because I was going to ask you, what is like your biggest advice for someone just starting their business or whatever? Yeah. And that is a great one. And I do want to talk about the formula for success for building a brand or building a business, because that's something that you'd mentioned before too. So tell us that.
Yes, absolutely. So the first one was, what are the tips that we have for new business owners? And I believe that the biggest takeaway for anyone, and this, I would tell anyone this, whether you have a brick and mortar business, a brand new network marketing business, whether you are going to become a coach, I don't care what you do. You have to understand that you have to have the long vision and the long game in your mind. Everybody wants to just show up, have a trillion bajillion followers, make 10K a month overnight.
Yep.
And I will tell I will tell you over and over and over again, there is 0 chances of overnight success.
Right.
0. People that show up and have overnight success, what was their journey like the last 10 years?
Right.
We don't know so often. So look, and this brings me to, here's the formula for success. Okay. This brings me here, which is you have to have the long vision in mind. You have to understand that if you have this call on your heart to do something, and it doesn't matter to me what your call is. And I think everybody has where they are right now for a reason.
Yes.
But it's that you have to be willing to go after it every day, every single day, with so much focus and so much faith that if you continuously show up for this dream, there is 0 chances you will fail. And maybe it takes you a year, maybe it takes you a decade. Right. Does it matter? It doesn't matter. It's go after the dream and the doors will open as long as you continuously are going after that. So that's what it's mindset, really, I guess is what I'm saying. Yeah. It's mindset first. And then here's the formula to have success. First is consistency. I believe that we can show up willy-nilly, and I'm guilty of this. I have kids and all these things, but your road to where you want to go, how much faster can you get to your destination if you walk at a pace, right? You're just walking every day, going, you're taking a step, taking a step. And ultimately you get to your destination versus I'm going to sprint today. Oh, I'm really exhausted. I'm going to take 4 days off. Oh, but now I'm ready to sprint again. And you've lost all this momentum that you would have had. So it's being consistent, and it's getting rid of every and any excuse that you're allowing to get in the way of your progress. Second one is work ethic. Okay. Because how people freak out. They're like, but I don't know how, or what is Johnny going to think of my post? And like, who cares? Who cares what Johnny thinks? This is not about Johnny. The only person you can compare yourself to is yourself.
Yes.
That's it. And so having the work ethic to say, can I show up today and just do one thing to make myself proud? Myself proud.
Yes.
You know, it's a promise to you.
Yes.
Your dreams are your own promises to your soul. Don't give up on yourself. Like that is just the worst.
Yes.
And then the last two is passion. And I think over anything, people will show up and they're like, I feel like a fraud. I don't have enough expertise. No one's going to take me seriously. How can I hire for this? And I'm like, are you excited about it? Can you bring your A game when it comes to passion? Like drink some coffee, show up, get excited, because you will have clients if you can just show them your passion.
Right.
I would choose a passionate employee any day of the week because they're excited, they're willing, they're enjoyable, their spirit brings like a light to the room. So bring your passion. And then the last one is don't forget about balance. As new business owners, what do? We get obsessed. I mean, I'm a recovering workaholic. I literally struggle every day not to get sucked back there because I love working. I love it. It lights me up. Like I can get lost in social media marketing and making Facebook ads and graphics. And I'm like, woo, like, and then all of a sudden I'm like, holy smokes, it's 5:00. Like what happened? And it's because I love it. So it's hard for me to some days remember my best me isn't the workaholic Stefanie.
Right.
I've been her before. So I have to schedule in the other areas that create balance for me, which are 30 minutes of spirituality in the morning. I wake up before everyone else, have my coffee and read my devotional, write my intentions for the day. If I didn't schedule that in, it wouldn't happen.
Right.
And then I even have to, and this may be sad, but I think this is the reality for a lot of female entrepreneurs. I even have to schedule in, okay, after 5, I'm turning off all work and I'm making dinner with the kiddos. I do an hour of this with the husband, and I have to time block in even family time, because if I don't, it just gets away from us.
Yeah. Oh, it does. And it goes back to being so passionate about it too.
Yeah.
But you have to remember to be intentional. So it's all just finding that balance. Finding the sweet spot is what I like to say.
Yeah.
Which is hard sometimes. But you said so many amazing things. That was just such a rich part there, especially with the analogy of walking, taking steps every single day as opposed to sprinting. I love that so much. And what you said, the dreams are promises that you make to yourself. That quote is just the best. Because at the end of the day, you have to be honest with yourself, to be proud of yourself, to love yourself, accept yourself, forgive yourself. It's all us, right? We get so consumed with everybody else. And that's why we get frustrated. And that's not to say we don't get frustrated with ourselves, but if it's just you and you, it's easier to resolve things if you realize that that's what it comes to, right?
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. So many levels.
Oh, I love it. All right. So thank you for all the advice. Let us know how to connect with you, of course. Instagram, podcast, tell us how to find you.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So I think the best place to find me is my website, which is Stefanie Gass, and it's Stefanie with an F and GASS.com. On there, I've got all the links to the website. The website is the Mompreneur Mastermind Show. That's anywhere you guys listen to podcasts. I've got freebies on there for the mompreneur. All kinds of cool content, lots of free stuff you can come and check out. And I would just absolutely love to meet you, and drop me a DM, say what's up.
Yes. Oh, I love how you teach so many things on your podcast. It's like sit down and learn from Stefanie with all the tips, the mistakes. And yeah, it's awesome. Definitely great free value there. You guys need to check it out. Thank you so much, Stefanie. This was so great. Oh,
you're welcome. I've had so much fun. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for joining me today and listening to this interview. I gotta say, it's been such a blessing connecting with Stefanie. Seriously, I did not imagine we'd become as close as we've gotten, exchanging messages and just talking about life. One of the many reasons why I love this show and this platform. Don't forget to connect with her. Her content is amazing and she's so encouraging and uplifting, not to mention funny. And if you love the episode, take a screenshot, share it on your stories, tag us, and give me a review and a rating here on iTunes. Until next time, bye!